better now.
Looking for this, huh?
Yes, sir, buddy. It's the weekend project. Thank you very much. Woohoo! Here it is. Well, there you go, YouTube. I don't know, I haven't seen anybody else get a live package and do their video on it. So there you go. I'm going to put you on hold right now, and we'll open this up in a few minutes. Alright, YouTube fans, I hope you can see me. Again, using the iPhone, I just got it sitting on my little stool, and if not, then unfortunately you won't get to see me unbox my mess. But this is my tune-up supplies from the good folks at ECS Tuning, apparently in Wadsworth, Ohio. And I've used these folks before on a previous project and was well and truly satisfied with everything that I had gotten. And this was interesting. I like when you can get a kit that has everything you need to do a particular job, more especially when you know it's the right parts that they're going to work together. So, what do we have here? Well, the first kit we have is the belts, the belt tensioner assembly, and then the they call it well, I would call it an idler pulley, but they have a slightly different name for it. So that gets the whole front end of the engine done. So that's good. Then we have 6 brand new spark plugs and some dielectric grease. And they give you a little label, a little BMW label that you can put on, which is a good thing because the maintenance intervals that are programmed into the computer of this car are crazy. They may be okay, but I maintain a lot more than that. And then here we go. We have 6. Good thing we have 6 of the coil packs. So there you go. Spark plug, electrical connection, and voila. And I've read quite a lot lately, and people are saying, well, if you're not getting a misfire and you're not getting any kind of a problem, why bother to replace them? And I have to say I don't know the answer to that, other than it just feels like it's something that should be done. I had a Ford Excursion many years ago. Well, not many years ago. I traded it to buy this, but many years ago, when it hit 50,000 miles, I went to the local transmission shop, which had a great reputation, and said, I'd like to get a transmission service. And man wouldn't do it. He said, I'm not going to open up a perfectly good transmission. He checked the fluid. He said, well, the fluid's fine. You're not getting any slipping or any... Wouldn't do it. Which, in hindsight, I have to say, much to his credit, was he didn't take my money when he didn't need to. And technically he was right. I kept, when I traded that truck, it had, I don't know, it wasn't 100,000 miles yet. It was a 01, didn't have 100,000 miles yet, and never had a problem with the transmission. So, what to say about that? I guess the takeaway is, he was an honest guy and he did the right thing. Wasn't going to take my money when he didn't need to, in spite of my, I was fairly insistent that I really wanted it done, but he didn't do it. So, that's okay. That's okay. Did put up a video, in fact it's uploading right now, of of the E90 330i going to breakfast this morning. Turned 100,000 miles. So as I said in the video, it's a milestone because I've never had a camera with me when it happened before. I think it's happened one other time. But it was neat to see it. So I recorded it, and now everybody else will get to see it if they want. So that's about it. There's my supplies, all set for getting started. It's just at 11 o'clock, and the UPS man, or the FedEx man, just left. So I have everything I need. So I think what I'll do is I'll get my tools together, and then probably have a bite of lunch, and then figure out how I'm going to rig that iPhone up to be able to film what I'm doing, and then get started. So I'll get back to y'all in a little while. Alright, YouTube fans, it's Hair BMW, and we're going to get started on our spark plugs and our coils. And this is an E90 330i 2006. So in order to get to the plugs which are under here, this shelf has to come out. So there are a couple of clips on either side of this, and this has got your brake reservoir in it. That piece will pop right up. Same thing on the other side. It's got clips on either side, and in this case, this one has got the windshield washer tube affixed to the bottom, and you just have to pop that off. It's got the little press fitting, and that will pop right off. And then we have got 8mm. Check and make sure I'm right. Yep, 8mm. There's 6 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now these two in the front are fairly useless, but they're there nevertheless, so you'll need to take them off. And what they are, they hold two little clips, which are supposed to hold the front of this air box down. And this air box is your cabin filter. So all the air that goes into the passenger compartment goes through here. I've had this off early on when I got the car, and that filter is in very good shape. Not terribly expensive, but it's also not necessary to replace when I don't need to. Get my little magnetic parts tray here. Very handy thing to have. So that's the first two. Always try and be particularly careful when I'm working with tools under the hood, and not just randomly set them down and get a whole collection of them under the hood, because, and I speak from personal experience, I once had I don't even remember what it was now, but I left it laying on top of the engine, and when I put the hood down, I was certain that I had put a dent in the hood from the inside, and it just happened that the hood was a little dirty and it had a smudge on it. And you know, when you see a smudge like that, sometimes it'll look like it's a dent, which should have told me right away that it wasn't a dent, because it would have been from the bottom, so it would have been a bubble, not a dent. But anyway, scared the crap out of me, and ever since then I try not to leave anything laying under the hood, at least not too much. Okay, so there you go. That pulls right out. Set that aside. And what you have is this big tray, which is composite of some sort. And same basic deal to get it out. It really only has a couple of fasteners. These are 8mm as well. There's one right here in the front. And then it's got these kind of strange rubber pieces toward the back, but nevertheless, the tricky bit about this, well, there are a couple, not, I shouldn't say tricky, but things you have to keep in mind, is there is a little wire and plug over here that, well, guys, as wont to happen, the iPhone has decided to act up, and well, I shouldn't say act up, it's out of memory. So I have switched over to my iPad, so we'll see how we get along here. Got to get some light to be able to see what I'm doing. I don't know what that little thing is on there. I had read one time and I forgot. It wasn't anything terribly important. But nevertheless, it's there. So, what you have under here is a tray that holds your battery line and other wiring that goes to the engine. Now on mine, a number of the clips that are under here are broken already, but I'm just going to pull that like that and leave it sit. And there are some other clips in there, which, excuse me, I will grab a screwdriver quick. There's just 3 of these little double clips that hold another one of the you see it here, it's kind of one of these, it looks like a hose, but it's actually just got wires in it. And then this will just lift out. So, very simple. This we don't have to do anything with. We'll just leave it sit right there, and in a minute I keep saying we, and I don't know why I do that. People do that all the time in videos. Well, we're going to do it. Well, no, we're not going to. I'm going to. So this is a T45 that take out these little fasteners. There's 6 of them in the top of this cover. And the thing about them is, A, they're plastic, they're not metal, and B, they're just sort of a, well, we'll see, it's like maybe not even a quarter of a turn, maybe an eighth of a turn. They're just like a little cam in there. I'm sorry, there isn't 6, there's only 5. I thought there was 6. They're, well, I hesitate to say they're chintzy, but they're they're not the greatest quality in the world. And with that done, this cover will pop up and off. There you go. And that's it. Now we have 6 of our coil packs and our spark plugs down inside. So I'm going to put you on hold, get a few things ordered up, and then get back to you. Alright, YouTube fans, not that anybody is going to be in the least bit surprised by this, but in the time since I last talked to you, just ran into a couple of the typical, well, I didn't expect that kinds of things. So the first is, I don't know, 6 months ago I changed the plugs and coil packs on my Z3, a couple of months before I bought this car. Can't find my spark plug wrench. No idea where it is. Socket. My boxes are really clean and organized. I have no earthly idea. So, that was the first mystery. So, you know, the old standby. It's okay. I can get them out just fine, and then I just put the plug on here, get it started down inside, and it works just fine. I have a terrible suspicion that this is the first time that these plugs and coils have ever been changed. Don't know what they should look like if they're stock OEM from the factory or not, but the way they're coming out is really difficult. In fact, the first plug, and I've kept them, I'll show you in a minute, has got rust around where the porcelain meets the metal, and in taking it out, that rust accumulated in the bottom of the hole. Unfortunately, I have over here my little tiny detailing attachment that goes on my trusty Auric that I use inside the interior and things like that, and I was able to get down in there very carefully and suck all that rust out of there. So I'll show you what it looks like. Maybe some of you can tell me what it means. I don't know. I've taken out 2 plugs so far, and you can see, it's kind of close I guess, but you can see where that rust goes around there. And these are Bosch plugs, which my understanding from the videos I've seen were the OEM, in other words from the factory, came with Bosch plugs. So that's part of what leads me to believe that these are original. And the car, as you all may or may not have noticed in my video this morning, rolled over 100,000 miles this morning. So that's it. I'm about to put the next boot in, and I've watched several videos, and there's varying schools of thought on whether or not, for example, you need to use any anti-seize on the threads of the plug. And since I'm using NGK plugs, I went to the NGK website and looked, and they do not. And their reasoning is that it gives you, as the person putting the plugs in, how did they put it? You don't sense how tight they're getting, and you can over tighten and break the plugs, and that they put a coating on, you don't need it. And I understand that. That's good. First off, these plugs are really tight. Secondly, I'm tightening specifically to the 18 foot-pounds that the manual calls for, so there's no risk that I'm going to over tighten. And because I don't think they've ever been done, my theory is just a little tiny bit of anti-seize, and I'm just talking a little bit, will help to sort of lubricate, no, that's not the right word, but sort of keep the mess from sticking. So I've put just a little tiny bit on. Now I'm about to put this coil pack in, and again, just a little tiny bit of the dielectric grease. Now they kind of say you can put it on the plug, and my experience having tried that before was if you put it on the plug, when you put it in your wrench and you go down in there, it's just everywhere. So I just put a little bit inside that boot there, and the idea is to positively and firmly press down until everything is seated, and you can feel it. There's this feeling that it's in there, and then reinsert the electrical connector. And as you push the electrical connector in, it sort of forces the lid down, and you just keep pushing until it closes positively, I would say. So there's 2 done, 4 more to go. I'm not going to keep you on the whole time, but I'll get back with you here directly. Well, YouTube fans are about to finish up here, but in order to be perfectly correct and full disclosure, earlier in my video I indicated that these little fasteners here were plastic. That is incorrect. The fasteners are actually metal, and they do actually go into a metal retainer underneath, but they are just barely a quarter of a turn. I did see on a video a guy was using a electric screwdriver to take them out, and I guess maybe it doesn't hurt anything, but nevertheless, in this case, they're just a slight turn and they pop right out. Secondly, I had indicated, it's going to be a little hard to see, that these little tab fasteners that were on here weren't very effective. Well, you know, who knows? This stuff's all new to me. I think what's supposed to be is that this is supposed to be attached to this in both places. So you can see how this will just move around. I noticed when I had them off that they weren't the same, and they look like they're supposed to be attached to here, and then this screw holds the whole mess in. So, nevertheless, who knew? I didn't know. This is my first time around. But nevertheless, while I had everything out, cleaned everything up as best I could. Bugs me that that oil cap is on backwards. But it is what it is. I'll fix that another day. I think I said that before. But anyway, everything's all back together. Yeah, no, pretty straightforward. The more you get into this, the more you realize that every model is just a little different. And I've watched a bunch of videos on replacing, because I have the new idler pulley and the new tensioner. And every video that I've been able to see so far was not exactly this car. And clearly I need to take out the air housing, or this snorkel here. But the one that I saw that was closest implies, you can see, this is the front of the car here. Once you take that snorkel off, all your belts are back in here, or your belt and your tensioner and your idler pulley are back in here. Implies to take the electric radiator out. And his was a simple little boop boop and it popped right out. Well, the more I look at mine, you know, I'm not sure I have the same one, because mine doesn't look anything like that simple to take the fan out. Not the radiator. If I said radiator, I meant just the electric fan. So, you know, I don't know. I feel like there's probably enough room to get down in there with this piece out of the way. but then again, I don't want to reinvent the wheel. So I will do what I always do, which is look at a lot more videos and try and find out. I always wanted to get something that's just a little bit unusual, and that's why I got the 06 330i, because there's just not that many of them around here where I live, and it looks amazing, which is what primarily why I got it, to be quite honest with you. I just like the way it looks. But you know, if you have a, and this is production January of 06, and from January until April of 06 there were some production changes were made, and I don't know exactly what that means, but for example, whenever I order something for this car, or for with any BMW, you have to you know, you put in the last 7 digits of your serial number or your VIN number, and it tells you everything you need to know. Well, like when I was buying the plugs and coils, the plugs and coils for this model were only good through 4 of 06, and then after 4 of 06, through the rest of the production, they were different plugs and coils, and I don't know what the difference is. The price was about the same. So, I don't know, but that's about it, really. I'm finished with that, and it's getting later in the day now. It's 4 o'clock, I guess, and I'm not going to get around to doing the belt and the tensioner and things today, because I need to do a little bit more research and figure out what's going on. So that's about it. I think I will see if I can find Sam Adams around here somewhere and probably turn on the YouTube and see what everybody's been up to. Probably edit this video a little bit and get it strung together, and typically I try and mash the send button right before I go to bed, because if I try and do it during the day, it either won't go through or it just takes so long and it slows down all the rest of the wireless in the house. So I just find if I do it late at night or even first thing in the morning when I get up, I don't have any problem. So that's about it. I will leave you for now. Don't want everybody to forget now that I trying to be part of the crowd, so I now have my own hair BMW decal or sticker or whatever, and I'd be glad to send anybody one that would like one. And I always enjoy watching everybody else with mail call, and so that one's going out to John Carey, 1963 Jag. So I'm both very excited for him that he's about to finish up Betty and get done, and a little concerned that once he gets done and has a whole lot of enjoyment driving that car around, that he may not be so involved with the YouTube. So, well, maybe he'll find another project. You never know. You never know. We'll hope. Hope, hope, hope. So, that's about it, YouTube. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.